Shri Radha Kalachandji ki jai, Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Shri Prahlad Narasinghadev Lakshmi Narasinghadev ki jai, Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Shri Pancha Tattva ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Chaya Astotar Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Chaya Astotar Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki jai. Brajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dhama ki jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dhama ki jai. Gangamai ki jai. Jamunamai ki jai. Bhakti Devi Tulasi Maharani ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Tonight we'll have Harinam at 6:30 p.m. We're going back to the original location across from Trader Joe's. There's a lot of people out there, so please come and join us. Hare Krishna. Jai!
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanna Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitya go Haribo, 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 Nitya go Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupad, Padamahamsa, Prabhupada, Shuddha Shri Srimad, His Divine Loving Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Gaudiya Vaishnavadinda Ki, Namacharya Das Thakur Ki, Prem Sakho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinatha Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki, Vrindavan Dhama Ki, Mathura Dhama Ki, Dwarka Dhama Ki, Mayapur Dhama Ki, Gungamai Ki, Chamunamai Ki, Tulsi Devi Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Gaur Premananda Haribo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga. Was I supposed to bring my own Bhagavatam? Oh, it's on there. Okay. Right. 60. Yes. Perfect. Right. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading this morning from Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th Canto, Chapter 24, entitled Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Our texts that we'll be reading are text 60 through 67, and our focus verse will be text number 65. So we just read the English? Right, okay. So would you like to begin, Prabhu?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, with the cooperation of Sankarshan, Balaram, performed activities beyond the mental comprehension of even such personalities such as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. For instance, Krishna arranged the battle of Kurukshetra to kill many demons for the relief of the entire world.
To show causeless mercy to the devotees who would take birth in the future in this age of Kali, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, acted in such a way that simply by remembering him, one will be freed from all lamentation and unhappiness of material existence. In other words, he acted so that all future devotees, by accepting the instructions of Krishna consciousness stated in the Bhagavad Gita, could be relieved from the pangs of material existence. That's an extraordinary.
Simply by receiving the glories of the Lord through purified transcendental years, the devotees of the Lord are immediately freed from strong material desires and engagement in fruitive activities.
Assisted by the descendants of Bhoja, Vrishni, Andaka, Madhu, Shurasena, Dasharha, Kuru, Srinjaya and Pandu, Lord Krishna performed various activities. By his pleasing smiles, his affectionate behavior, his instructions and his uncommon pastimes like raising Govardhan hill, the Lord appearing in his transcendental body pleased all of human society.
Krishna's face is decorated with ornaments, such as earrings resembling sharks. His ears are beautiful, his cheeks brilliant, and his smiling attractive to everyone. Whoever sees Lord Krishna sees a festival. His face and body are fully satisfying for everyone to see, but the devotees are angry at the Creator for the disturbance caused by the momentary blinking of their eyes.
You see a festival, you see Krishna's face.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, known as Leela Purushottama, appeared as the son of Vasudeva, but immediately left his father's home and went to Vrindavan to expand his loving relationship with his confidential devotees. In Vrindavan, the Lord killed many demons, and afterwards he returned to Dwarka, where, according to Vedic principle, he married many wives, who were the best of women, begot through them hundreds of sons, and performed sacrifices for his own worship to establish the principle of householder life.
Thereafter, Lord Sri Krishna created a misunderstanding between family members just to diminish the burden of the world. Simply by his glance, he annihilated all the demoniac kings on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and declared victory for Arjuna. Finally, he instructed Uddhava about transcendental life and devotion, and then returned to his abode in his original form.
Amen. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 9th canto, 24th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, completed in Bhubaneswar, India, on the occasion of establishing a Krishna Balaram temple. End of 9th canto. Wow, I did not know that. So this morning we are reading from the 65th verse, which is the last chapter before we jump into the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and bathe our hearts and minds in that glorious canto which describes Krishna's intimate dealings with his devotees in Vrindavan. So please repeat. Yasyanam Malara Makara Kundala Charu Karna Brajat Kapola Subhagam Savilasa Asam Yotsavam Na Tachapur Jishibi Pibyantya Naryo Narash Cha Munditaha Kupita Nimesh Cham Yasyana Makara Kundala Churakarna Yasyana Makara Kundala Charukarna Brajat Kapola Supagam Savila Sahasam Brajat Kapola Subhagam Savila Sahasam Nityotsavam Nachatapur Jishibi Pibadantyo Nityo Savam Nachatapur Jishibi Pibantyo Naryo Narascha Mudita Kupita Namescha Naryo Narascha Mudita Kupita Namescha Yasyananam Makara Kundala Charukarna Brajat Kapola Subhagam Savila Sahasam Niyotsavam Nachatapur Jishibi Pibantyo Naryo Naras Chamudita Kupita Namescha Anyone like to chant? Yasyana makala kundala charukana. Brajat kapola subhagam savila sahasam. Nityotsavam nachatipo krishibi bibhyantyo. Naryo narascha mudita kupita namescha. Yasyana makara kundala charukana. Brajat kapola subhaga savila sahasam. Nidyotsavam nachitapur jishibi bibhyantyo. Naryo naras chamudita kupita namescha. Anyone else? Yasyana namakara kunda charukarna. Brajat kapola subhaga savila sahasam. Niyotsavam nachitupur jishibi bibhyantyo. Naryo narascha mudita kupita namescha. Going once? Going twice? Anyone else? Yasyana makara kundala charukarna. Brajat kapola subhaga savila sahasam. Nityotsavam nachatipur jishibi bidhyantyo. Naryo narescha mudita kupita namescha. So we'll now do the transliteration together. Yasya, whose? Let's do it together. Ananam, face. Makara kundala charukarna, decorated by ears resembling sharks, by beautiful ears. Prajat, brilliantly decorated. Kapola, forehead. Subhagam, declaring all opulences. Savalasahasam, with smiles of enjoyment. Nitya utsavam, whenever one sees him, one feels festive. Na chitupu, they could not be satisfied. Jushibi, by seeing the form of the Lord. Bibhyantya, as if drinking through the eyes. Narya, all the women of Vrindavan. Nada, all the male devotees. Cha, also. Mudita, fully satisfied. Kupita, angry. Name, the moment they are disturbed by the blinking of the eyes. Cha, also. Translation. Krishna's face is decorated with ornaments such as earrings resembling sharks. His ears are beautiful, his cheeks brilliant, and his smiling attractive to everyone. Whoever sees Lord Krishna sees a festival. His face and body are fully satisfying for everyone to see, but the devotees are angry at the Creator for the disturbance caused by the momentary blinking of their eyes. Translation again, please repeat. Krishna's face is decorated with ornaments such as earrings, resembling sharks. His ears are beautiful, his cheeks brilliant, and his smiling attractive to everyone. Whoever sees Lord Krishna sees a festival. His face and body are fully satisfying for everyone to see. But the devotees are angry at the Creator for the disturbance caused by the momentary blinking of their eyes. What an amazing meditation, to become angry. This is the proper use of anger, right? To become angry. Why did Lord Brahma create eyelids? So I can't see Krishna without interruption. Do you realize when we blink, it's only like a 50th of a second, 50th of a million, 50 milliseconds that the eyes are closed. Imagine how quickly it is. Like, it takes 1,000 milliseconds to make a second. And when the eyelids close at that point, it's only 50 milliseconds. And here the devotees in Vrindavan are so much enthralled with Krishna that they're angry to be in that moment, that 50 millisecond of separation. So purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, as stated by the Lord Himself in the Bhagavad Gita, 7:3, chapter 7, text 3. Manyasanam sasreshu kastid yadati siddhaye yadatamapi siddhanam kastamang vedi tatvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Unless one is qualified to understand Krishna, one cannot appreciate the presence of Krishna on earth. Among the Bhojas, Vrishnis, Andakas, Pandavas, and many other kings intimately related with Krishna, the intimate relationships between Krishna and the inhabitants of Vrindavan is especially to be noted. That relationship is described in this verse by the words Yotsavanam na chitpur jishibi bibantya. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, especially such as the cowherd boys, the cows, the calves, the gopis, and Krishna's father and mother, were never fully satisfied, although they saw Krishna's beautiful features constantly. Seeing Krishna is described here as a Nitya Utsava, a daily festival. The inhabitants of Vrindavan saw Krishna almost every moment, but when Krishna left the village for the pasturing grounds, where he tended the cows and calves, the gopis were very much afflicted because they saw Krishna walking on the sand and thought that Krishna's lotus feet, which they dared not place on their breasts because they thought their breasts were not soft enough, were being pierced by broken chips of stone. By even thinking of this, the gopis were affected and they cried at home. These gopis, who were therefore the exalted friends of Krishna, saw Krishna constantly. But because their eyelids disturbed their vision of Krishna, the gopis condemned the Creator, Lord Brahma. Therefore, the beauty of Krishna, especially the beauty of his face, is described here. At the end of the 9th canto, in the 24th chapter, we find a hint of Krishna's beauty. Now we are proceeding to the 10th canto, which is considered Krishna's head. The entire Srimad Bhagavatam is the embodiment of Krishna's form, and the 10th canto is his face. This verse gives a hint of how beautiful his face is. Krishna's smiling face, with his cheeks his lips, the ornaments in his ears, his chewing of betel nuts. All this was minutely observed by the gopis, who thus enjoyed transcendental bliss, so much so that they were never fully satisfied to see Krishna's face, but instead condemned the creator of the body for making eyelids that obstructed their vision. The beauty of Krishna's face was therefore much more appreciated by the gopis than by his friends, the cowherd boys, or even by Yashoda Mata, who was always interested in decorating the face of Krishna. Om Ganana Tilamandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmanitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayamupakadamayam Dadatisva Padantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Balakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangtam Sujivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Pradejana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. When I was reading this verse this morning, I was thinking, how exalted are the gopis of Vrindavan, that they are cursing the Creator for creating eyelids. And of course, I was praying that when will the day come when my ears will not bear to not hear about Krishna. I remember one time, when the last time I was here in Vrindavan, here in Shishikala, Radhikala Chanjidam, that the devotees said that when I chant, I used to think that chanting the holy name was an interruption to my life. Now I see my life as an interruption to chanting. Do you remember his name? He was a disciple of Giriraj Maharaj. I can't remember. He made this comment during class. Maybe that stuck with me. So, in the last sentence of this purport, it says that the beauty of Krishna's face was therefore much more appreciated by the gopis than by his friends, the cowherd boys, or even by Yashoda Mata, who was also interested in decorating the face of Krishna. So of all the gopis, who appreciated Krishna's face the most? Srimati Radharani, yes. And I was a few days ago, Yashomadhi Nandana Prabhu, he sang this prayer, which I had not heard for many years, for a long time, and it was just so nice to hear it again. So I'll just read the English translation. It was, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayat Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Such a beautiful prayer. It's by Rupa Goswami. And the translation is, O Radha, O beloved of Madhava, O you who are worshipped by all the young girls of Gokula, all glories unto you. You who dress yourself in such a way as to increase Lord Damodar's love and attachment for you. Well, I'm not going to look at the deities right now, but can tell me, someone look at Radharani and tell me how she's dressing right now to attract Krishna. What is she wearing? Well, she's wearing a black dress. Yes, sequins in so many ways. What about her necklace? She has a beautiful rubies. Everything she puts on her body is meant for attracting Krishna, no one else. So it says here that she just like Mother Yashoda, she would bind Krishna with ropes. In the same way, Radharani, she binds Krishna to her with how she dresses. And then Rupa Goswami says, O Queen of Vrindavan, which is the pleasure groves of Lord Hari, O new moon that has arisen from the ocean of King Vrishabhanu, O friend of Lalita, O you who make Vishaka loyal to you, due to your wonderful qualities of friendliness, kindness, and faithfulness in Krishna. Let's think, just meditate on those three qualities of friendly, kind, and faithfulness in Krishna. So sometimes if we feel lonely in life, if we want to have a friend, they say, become a friend. Right? If you want people to be kind to us, then be kind to others. It's just, we get that immediately, that experience. And faithfulness in Krishna, by becoming faithful to Krishna, right? Devotees become faithful to us. They trust us. And the last verse is, O new moon that has risen from the ocean of King Vrishabhanu. I'm sorry. And the last verse is that these prayers, these glories of Srimati Radharani are sung by Sanatana and Sananaka, the sages. So the beauty of Krishna's face is described here. And in the material world, everyone's trying to make their face beautiful to attract others. But it says here that the devotees, because of her wonderful qualities, Vishaka is loyal to her, and that she is worshipped by all the young girls, all the gopis of Vrindavan. And because of that, these gopis become inspired to worship Krishna more. One time I wrote a song and I thought I might share with you because we're talking about Srimati Radharani, and the chorus goes like this: All glories to Radharani, all glories to Radharani, Jai Jai Vrindavaneshwari, all glories to Radharani. Can we try that? All glories to Radharani, all glories to Radharani, Jai Jai Vrindavaneshwari, all glories to Radharani. The verses go like this. It's taken from, there's 25 qualities that are mentioned in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So we just put those together, and it goes like this. Radha is enjoyed by Sri Krishna. She's loved by all in Gokula. She always dresses so nicely. All glories to Radharani. All glories to Radharani. All glories to Radharani. Jai Jai Vrindavaneshwari. All glories to Radharani. Radha is Krishna's life and soul. She keeps him under her control. She always smiles so brightly. All glories to Radharani. All glories to Radharani. All glories to Radharani. Jai Jai Vrindavaneshwari, all glories to Radharani. Radha, sweetness personified, her moving eyes are open wide. She's patient, shy, and speaks sweetly, all glories to Radharani. All glories to Radharani, all glories to Radharani. Jai Jai Vrindavaneshwari, all glories to Radharani. Radha is always respectful, gentle, modest, and merciful. So if we want Krishna's mercy, let us pray to Radharani. All glories to Radharani, all glories to Radharani. Jai Jai Vrindavaneshwari, all glories to Radharani. Thank you. Thank you very much. So those are just 13 of the qualities of Srimati Radharani, and there's 12 more to make 25. She's a fresh young girl. She has auspicious marks throughout her body. She's an expert singer. She has feminine attractions which attract Krishna. She's transcendently cunning. She's grave. She's always on the highest platform of devotion. She gives shelter to everyone. I especially love this quality because without her mercy, I don't think any of us would be here. Right? Actually, there's a beautiful story that Giriraj Maharaj tells about how, because Srila Prabhupada was, so dear to Srimati Radharani, how he would give shelter to everyone. There was one time, Giriraj Maharaj and Satsuru Maharaj were in the Boston temple, and there was this new devotee who joined, and they called him Crazy Peter. Has anyone heard this story before? Yes. Well, for those of you who haven't, Crazy Peter, he would just kind of lie in the hallway of the temple, and he would just read all day. And he was just lying, and he would come in, and guests would have to walk over him. And so one time, Giriraj Maharaj and Satsupur, what are we going to do? He just lies on the floor all the time. So they wrote Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada wrote back, says, "What's the problem? Can't you tolerate?" So then later on, Crazy Peter, he left, and guess where he went to? Where all the crazies would go. To New Vrindavan! Back in those days, okay. And he started doing quite well, actually. One time when Giriraj was going to India through New York, he said, "By the way, have you seen, Crazy Peter? How's he doing?" He asked one of the devotees. "He's doing quite well in New Vrindavan." Well, that's wonderful. So he lost contact with him for 20 years. And he didn't, Then finally, 20 years later, Giriraj Maharaj, he goes to Los Angeles, New Dwarka temple. And there's this devotee, he's leading the Mangalarti. And he's singing beautifully. But he's behind him, he can't see him. And later on, "Oh my God, that's Crazy Peter." And he asked the devotees, "Who is this devotee?" They said, "Oh, Prabhu, that's Kusakrata Prabhu." Who did so much wonderful service for Srila Prabhupada, who translated, became a great scholar. He learned Sanskrit. He translated so many of the Goswami literature into English. So this is the nature of Srimati Radharani, that she gives shelter to everyone, and which reminds us never to become judgmental and think, just because someone is, has long hair, or, reminds me, I know Ranath Maharaj told me a story how one time when he first came to New Vrindavan, he had very long hair, and he was shunned by the devotees, But one time this devotee saw him painting the temple at Madhavan, preparing for Srila Prabhupada's arrival. And he said to Kirnanda Swami, "Who is this?" "Oh, it's some Bhakta, Bhakta Richard. He looks like he needs some help." So Siddhanta went there, and helped him paint the temple for Srila Prabhupada to stay, where Srila Prabhupada was going to be staying. And since that time, they became so close. So whenever Ramnath Maharaj comes, his main reason for coming to New Vrindavan is to see his friend. And this is the nature of a devotee, is to become friendly. This is the nature of Srimati Radharani, is her friendliness. Another one of her qualities is that she's affectionate to all, shows love to superiors and inferiors. She's obliged by the love of her associates. She's foremost of Krishna's gopis. So, it's interesting how the gopis were looking at Krishna and they're condemning the blinking of their eyes. But here we also find, in today's world, we also have the same phenomena almost going on. But it's not like we're looking at Krishna, but we're looking at our cell phones. We have, just like the gopis were addicted to seeing Krishna, with unblinking eyes, praying that their eyes will not blink. We blink about maybe 15, 20 times a minute, right? And when we become absorbed, I know myself, when I become absorbed in my cell phone, the blinking goes down to maybe 5 times a minute, because our eyes are like, and it's interesting how they've figured it out, how the nature of the brain is want to see like something different, some change, see some novelty, right? See variations in color. So they create the cell phones in such a way that the brain becomes stimulated and creates these rushes of dopamine, right? These chemicals in the body. So it's very carefully orchestrated by Maya to distract us from the face of Krishna. Actually, my daughter suggested I read a book about the human body. Remember books? Remember those things that are square? They have like white pages in them. Anyway, in this book, it describes, how intricate, we think of this body as a lump of ignorance, but if we actually see how the body is functioning, you can see, to think we can enjoy this body is certainly ignorant. But when we analyze how intricate, how it is producing so many signals for coordination throughout the body, we can see it's Krishna's stroke of genius, an infinite genius, this body. So this one writer, he's writing, says, so how do we celebrate the glory of our existence, of this body? Well, for most of us, it's by eating maximally and exercising minimally. Think of all the junk we throw down our throats, and how much of our life is spent sprawled in a near vegetative state in front of the glowing screen. So this is. So when Srila Prabhupada was coming to the West, his vision was Chi Kalagyan. He could see the approaching effects of Kali Yuga, and therefore he was so anxious to present the Srimad Bhagavatam, which we're reading today, and we're coming now to the face, as Gujai Guranga Babu mentioned in his class. He said that the feet are the first canto, right? And the second is with the thighs. First and second are lotus feet, okay. So so Srimad Bhagavatam is actually an incarnation of Krishna himself. And so Srila Prabhupada, he went through so much struggle to bring this Srimad Bhagavatam to us. He would get up like at 12 o'clock at night, and he would write the Bhaktivedanta purports and do the translations. And so much trouble just to get the first 3 volumes out. Srila Prabhupada had no money. He had taken sannyas, and he would go to different people. He went to Hitsaran Sharan, who was a secretary for Ramakrishna Dalmia, was a very wealthy industrialist. So he knew he had some saintly, he heard this Hitsaran Sharan had some saintly qualities and was interested in propagating Vedic culture. So he went to him, and he suggested he go to Hanuman Prasad Podar. And from Mr. Podar, he got a donation of 4,000 rupees. And with that and a few other donations, he's able to, he collected the funds for the first volume of the first canto. And then he would go to the paper sellers in Chowki Bazaar, one biggest bazaar in Delhi. He'd buy the paper. He would arrange for the paper to get brought to the printers, and then the printers would print it. And then he would arrange for once the copies were printed, to the bookbinder, and they would bind the books. Right? And then after he got the first volume printed, then he had no personal money. He was living in a free dharamshala, and he went to an executive of a sugar factory, LNH sugar factory, and he got a 5,000 rupee donation to print the second volume. And then finally, he had those 2 volumes. Then who else can I get to donate? That's when he went to Mumbai. And what he did is he heard that Sumati Morarji was very he'd met her actually in 1950 at Kurukshetra. He was still then Grihasta, and she met him, and they talked for a half hour. She gave him her card. So he came there, and this time he was dressed as a sannyasi, and he just sat at her doorstep for 5 hours, chanting. And people were passing by, and finally she came out to her secretary, Mr. Chokshi. Who is this? He's been waiting for you for 5 hours to see his determination. It's okay. She went to talk to him, and he said, "I'd like to speak with you. want to go to America, to the States." So she granted him an interview, and she gave him a donation to print the 3rd volume. So in this way, he personally had to go and collect the funds. And people would criticize him, actually, because once he collected the funds and he printed the books, he would sell them. So people were criticizing him. At one temple, they were criticizing, who is this? What kind of sannyasi is this, engaged in selling, And in fact, Mr. Chokshi, he used to, say to Srila Prabhupada, that was Mrs. Morarji's secretary, says, "Why do you want to go to the United States? Why don't you just do something here in Delhi or Mumbai or Vrindavan? Why do you want to go there?" And he would tease him and said, "I know why you want to go. You want to go to see the States. All the Swamis just want to go to the United States for sightseeing, right? So you want to go there and enjoy." And Srila Prabhupada said, "What do I have to enjoy? My life is finished." So Srila Prabhupada's mood was of such complete renunciation that he completely had dedicated himself to pursuing the mission of his spiritual master. And it described that, I was reading in the Lilamrita, just before Srila Prabhupada was getting ready to get on the boat, the Jaladuta, to come to America. He could have, and here he was, at least in India, even though the government was changed and people were starting to try to follow the Western ways, still there were some remnants of Vedic culture. A Swami, a sannyasi could be respected. He could, and the Srimad Bhagavatam was respected. And Srila Prabhupada could go to, as he did, anywhere. If he just sat and waited, you could meet with millionaires. You could meet with presidents, which he did. He met with all these different great persons, these respectable personalities. But in America, you're nobody, especially at that time. There was no Hindu community. You come to America, you're just a foreigner. Right? But Srila Prabhupada, and actually he only had one anxiety. Does anyone, apart from wanting to execute the spiritual master's order, he had one anxiety, that he would not die in Vrindavan. He wanted to leave his body in Vrindavan. But the order of his spiritual master took precedence over that desire. And then he knew that if he brought this message to the West, he became so enlivened. Right? He became so encouraged, just thinking, if one person reads this Srimad Bhagavatam, they can change their whole life. They can change the course. He had complete conviction that the Srimad Bhagavatam could change the whole course of human civilization. That was his conviction. And he had a little flyer that I thought I would share to you. He had a little pamphlet he printed up. And whenever he saw someone, he would give this pamphlet. And this is called Srimad Bhagavatam, India's Message of Peace and Goodwill. 60 volumes. He only had 3 volumes, but he was, so confident. 60 volumes of an elaborate English version by Chidandi Goswami, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, carried by the Scindia Steam Navigation Company Limited, Bombay, all over the world for scientific knowledge of God. That was the introduction, the headlines. It had his picture. And the Srila Prabhupada writes, the sufferings of the entire human society can at once be brought under control simply by individual practice of bhakti yoga, a simple and easy process of chanting the holy name of God. Every country, every nation, and every community throughout the world has some conception of the holy name of God. And as such, either the holy name, whether you're a Hindu or a Muslim or Christian, everyone can easily chant the holy name of God in a meditative mood. And that will bring about the required peace and goodwill in the present problematic human society. So as we enter into the Christmas season, we hear peace and goodwill for all on earth. That is the message. So here's the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Srila Prabhupada says, after inquiring in this connection, and then he says, any inquiry in this connection will be gladly answered by Sri Swamiji. The Hindus generally chant the holy names of God in 16 chain of transcendental sound composed of 32 alphabets as Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Vedic literature, like the Upanishads and Puranas, do recommend chanting of the above-mentioned 16 holy names at a stretch. And Lord Sri Chaitanya, who preached the cult of chanting of the holy name of God, gave special importance to those transcendental sounds. In this age of hate and hypocrisy, corruption and quarrel, the only remedial measure is that everyone should chant the holy names of the Lord, both individually and collectively. So, it's 8:34. I apologize, I've gone a little over time. Oh, does it really? Oh, okay. So, I would love to hear from all of you. And hear any of your reflections.
You mentioned the word cult. Prabhupada actually uses that word quite a bit, the cult of Lord Chaitanya.
Yes.
But that word, that's a four-letter word. It has a very negative connotation in America. Somebody's in a cult, that means they've lost their individuality and become like a brainwashed zombie that just does whatever they're told, Spartan. So should we use that word, cult? I mean, Prabhupada uses it, but it has a completely different meaning to people when
Yeah, that's a very
some people.
very perceptive observation, and it leads into a very deep philosophical discussion about the difference between deviation and adaptation. Because you're right. Like, I remember reading in a dictionary that was written around 1940, and the definition of cult was any group with intense devotion. But, as we know, as times change, words take on different meanings. So I think you're correct that in this day and age, the word cult would trigger people. So then the question is, so how do I adapt Krishna consciousness without deviating? Just like in our body, right? We have our cells. They're constantly, they duplicate, right? What happens is after so many duplications, after so many dividing of the cells, they start having mistakes. And then if those mistakes accumulate, they create cancer. So for a healthy institution, requires that we repeat what the spiritual master says perfectly. But at the same time, just like the immune system, we have two types of immune system in our bodies. We have what's called an innate immune system. I'm sorry? No, it's okay. Our innate immune system is the cells that we are born with in the embryo that are given to us. All the different types of white cells. But then we have what's called an adaptive immune system. And the adaptive immune system, it adapts. It is like you have five major types of white blood cells. You have, and some of them are innate, and they just kill. Like, for example, there's one called the neutrophils, and they just kill. That's all they know about, just killing. But then you have other cells that they have a memory, and they can adapt to the particular pathogen that enters the body. Because when we're first created, we don't know the body doesn't know what pathogens it's going to require. That's going to invade us. So that's the difference between, so those cells, they do their job. Now if those white blood cells, who are part of the adaptive immune system, start killing our own cells, then they become cancers, or they call that autoimmune disease, right? Start inflicting pain on healthy cells. So I'm just drawing an analogy here that we have to be, based on the scripture, we have to be intelligent enough to be faithful to the Siddhanta of the previous acharyas, but at the same time be adaptive enough. You know, we can maintain our innate immune system, right? In our faith to our guru and the parampara, but at the same time be adaptive enough that we can target, you know, those pathogens, those mental pathogens, or those dysfunctional paradigms that are developed as time moves on. Does that help? Any?
Thank you for the inspirational focus on Prabhupada's endeavor to get the paper, bind the books, bring the books, beg his way to it. That was very inspiring in connection with giving the Bhagavatam to us, to see all the intense personal efforts that Prabhupada made to give us this, the body of Krishna, give us the Bhagavatam. Thank you for the class.
Well, thank you. You reminded me of something I just wanted to share with you. And this is two things. Is actually, you mentioned the other day to me that I told you I have a disease. Remember, I said my disease is I want to impress others, right? And you said, yes, you quoted Radhanath Maharaj saying, as long as we want to feel superior to others, we cannot enter Vrindavan. So I just wanted to real quickly just share with you this last. Oh, did you have a question or someone else?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, your comment.
No, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. It just I just thought this is a beautiful prayer by Sanatan Goswami, which is glorifies the Bhagavatam. If it's okay, I'll just read it real quickly. It says, O Srimad Bhagavatam, O nectar churned from the ocean of all Vedic scriptures, O most prominent transcendental fruit of all the Vedas, on you who are enriched, O you who are enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusions, O you who grants spiritual life to all people of the world, O life breath of the Vaishnava devotees. So I'm just thinking that meditation, that the Bhagavatam is our life breath. And if we don't hear Bhagavatam, we're suffocating. That's how we're being to say.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your wonderful class. And I could feel and sense the intensity with which you're speaking. You're speaking from the bottom of the heart. Thank you very much. Just one question and then one comment if you have time. One question first. You spoke about Radhanath Swami, that particular story in New Vrindavan. I didn't catch the name of the devotee.
His name is Sudanu.
Sudanu.
Sudanu. Yes.
Thank you. And thank you for explaining this story of Crazy Peter again. So that just reminded me of one of my godbrothers. He's from Canada. His name is Jagannath Kirtan. I still remember when he came to Chowpatty Ashram for the first time. He was new to the movement that time, and somebody just told him, if you're serious, you should visit Mumbai. That's how he came. So his locker used to be near to my locker. So every day before Mangalarti, I used to see him. After taking the shower, I used to see him, wearing the wet gamcha, the towel wrapped around, and then he used to put on the dhoti on top. So that went on for almost a week, and I couldn't just resist asking him, is there any reason why you do this? I said, I thought this is the practice. So that was the point I saw him. And later on, I couldn't believe he advanced so quickly. Within a year, he had learned Hindi. Within a year, he had memorized all 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Within a couple of years, he started doing youth preaching in universities in Mumbai, and he became one of the top-notch preachers. Yeah, that was the transformation I witnessed with my own eyes. Within a couple of years, I saw him.
Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you for everyone's attendance and enthusiastic participation in this most glorious treasure of Krishna Katha. So, on that happy note, let us all offer obeisances. Vanchakoparabhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha pitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namah. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.